Final run, and she'd like to go even further.
The love affair with Miami continues for Alexandra Eala. This year comes as a seeded player and responds to the expectations of her fans, beating the player that took out the number 2 seed, Iga Swiatek, in the previous round. Great showing for Eala, who now is a marked player, as she is the one to watch more often than not, because you know which court she's playing. It's the noisiest one.
A big hand for Magda Linette. She was troubled a little bit by a lower back issue. Still a great tournament because she was the one who took out the number 2 seed, Iga Swiatek. So a big hand, a round of applause for Magda Linette. But it is Alex Eala who is the winner out here on the grandstand, and she...
Stop absolutely everything you are doing right now. Do not scroll past this video. Do not swipe away. Cancel your meetings. Put your phone on airplane mode. Disconnect your Wi-Fi from every single other device in your entire house. Lock your door, close your blinds, and turn the volume on your speakers all the way up until the bass is literally shaking the concrete foundation of your floorboards. I need your absolute undivided, unblinking microscopic attention for the next few minutes, because the mainstream sports media, the terrified executives in the corporate boardrooms, and the established veterans hiding in the shadows of the locker room just watched their absolute worst, most horrifying nightmare become a terrifying permanent reality on the grandstand court. They thought they had her figured out. They thought the fairy tale was over. The tennis establishment looked at the round of 16 bracket. They saw Alexandra Eala's name next to the veteran Magda Linette, and they genuinely, foolishly, arrogantly believed that the Philippine uprising was finally going to be shut down. They went on national television and they told the public that Magda Linette, a seasoned, battle-tested, gritty European grinder who has seen absolutely everything the tour has to offer, was going to drag the 20-year-old into deep water and drown her. They said Linette's massive experience would finally expose Eala's youth. They said the intense, suffocating pressure of the grandstand stage would finally crack the Nadal Academy prodigy. They were lying to themselves, and today they were completely, violently, and publicly humiliated in front of the entire world. What you are looking at on this screen right now is not a tennis scorecard. It is not just a collection of numbers. It is a certified obituary for the old guard of the Women's Tennis Association. It is the definitive, undisputed, horrifying forensic evidence of a complete and total psychological destruction. You are looking at the final result. Alexandra Eala completely dismantles Magda Linette 6-3, 7-6. But a simple straight-set scoreline does not even begin to tell the true terrifying horror story of what actually happened inside that concrete cage today. We have to tear away the public relations spin. We have to ignore the desperate, stuttering excuses of the commentators. And we have to dive incredibly deep into the absolute tactical matrix of these statistics. Because when you truly analyze what happened on that court, it reveals a level of dominance that is currently causing panic attacks in the WTA executive suites. Let us start with the absolute most mind-bending, physically impossible, mathematically absurd statistic on this entire screen. I need you to look very, very closely at the percentage on the second serve win rate. I want you to prepare your mind because this number breaks the fundamental laws of professional tennis. Alexandra Eala won an unbelievable, completely incomprehensible 86% of her second serve points. I am going to repeat that so it permanently burns into your central nervous system. 86%. In the highly aggressive, cutthroat world of the WTA Tour, the second serve is an absolute weakness. It is the bleeding wound. It is the exact moment the returner is supposed to step inside the baseline, take a massive swing, and violently attack. Even the greatest servers in the history of the sport, legends with massive, overwhelming power, usually hover around a 50 or 55% win rate on their second serve against elite returners. If a player wins 60% of their second serves, they are considered to be having a phenomenal serving day. But Alexandra Eala hit 86%. How is that physically and tactically possible? I will tell you exactly how it is possible, because Alexandra Eala has completely eliminated the very concept of vulnerability from her psychological operating system. When she missed her first serve, which she did 36% of the time, she did not panic. Her arm did not shake. Her heart rate did not spike. She simply tossed the ball again and delivered a second serve so incredibly heavy, so filled with suffocating, vicious topspin that Magda Linette was completely frozen at the baseline. I want you to close your eyes and imagine the pure, suffocating psychological torture of being Magda Linette in this match. You are a 3-4-year-old veteran. You have played hundreds of professional matches. You wait patiently for the rookie to finally miss a first serve. The umpire calls a fault. You take a deep breath. You step forward. You grip your racket tight, ready to crush the second serve and take control of the rally. And then Eala drops a second serve that jumps up to your shoulder with the weight of a bowling ball. You hit it back defensively, and before you can even recover your balance, Eala is already standing on the baseline, perfectly set, ripping a forehand winner past your ear. 86% of the time, when Magdalene thought she had a window of opportunity, Eala violently slammed the titanium door on her fingers. Eala essentially told a seasoned veteran, "My absolute worst shot, my safety net, is still mathematically better than anything you can possibly throw at me." The psychological pressure of knowing you cannot win a point even when your opponent makes a mistake is enough to completely break a player's mind. It creates a suffocating, paralyzing panic. It makes your legs heavy. It makes you question your entire tactical game plan. And the horror story gets infinitely worse when you look across the net to see how the veteran handled her own service games. Magda Linette only managed to win 58% of her second serve points. When Linette missed a first serve, she was actively bleeding points on the court. When Eala missed a first serve, she was still delivering a flawless, unstoppable offensive strike. The gap in pure quality, tactical maturity, and psychological strength is a massive, unbridgeable canyon. Now let us analyze the absolute violence of how this match actually unfolded game by agonizing game. The media thought Linette would start strong and control the pace. They thought the veteran would use her slice and her court craft to confuse the younger player. But what did our girl do? Alexandra Eala unleashed a terrifying offensive wave, putting together an unbelievable run of 5 consecutive games, 5 straight games. She did not just beat Linette in that opening stretch, she suffocated her. She locked her in a baseline chokehold and completely refused to let her breathe. Linette's longest run in the entire match was a weak 3 games. Whenever the veteran tried to build any momentum, whenever she tried to get the crowd involved, Eala simply stared her down, read her timing, and hit a forehand so heavy it almost ripped the racket out of Linette's hands. Eala produced 24 return points won, completely terrorizing Linette's service games from the very first ball. Eala created 5 breakpoint chances and converted 2 of them, surgically dismantling the veteran's serve exactly when it mattered most. But the true masterpiece of this match, the exact moment that definitively proved Alexandra Eala is the undisputed Grim Reaper of the WTA Tour, happened at the very end of the second set. This is where the legends are permanently separated from the pretenders. The score was tied 6-6, a tiebreak, the ultimate pressure cooker of professional tennis. This is the exact territory where veterans are supposed to thrive. This is where experience, trickery, and age are supposed to overcome raw youth. Magda Linette genuinely believed that if she could just drag the 2-0-year-old into a second-set tiebreak on the grandstand court, the young Filipina would finally crack under the intense stadium lights. Linette thought she had her trapped. She thought the pressure would cause Ayala's arm to tighten up. She was completely, tragically, historically wrong.
A lot of big stages, which I am so grateful for and wouldn't trade for the world. But being back in the 4th round, it makes me feel the same as I did last year. I'm so happy. I'm so excited, and it's such a privilege to be back in Miami.
Well, it is so great to have you here. Let's hear it one more time, Alex Eala.
So the young superstar from the Philippines continues to delight her fans even here in Miami, Nico.
And you just saw her words. You just saw why she's so well liked everywhere. It goes beyond tennis. She is an unbelievable player, but poised beyond her years, and every...
Alexandra Eala did not break. She did not collapse. When that tiebreak started, Eala flipped a psychological switch that most human beings do not even have. She channeled the cold, terrifying, dead-eye focus of her mentor, Rafael Nadal. She looked at the veteran, she looked at the scoreboard, and she carried out an absolute cold-blooded, clinical destruction. Eala completely overwhelmed Magda Linette in the tiebreak, winning it by a humiliating, crushing score of 7 points to 2. 7-2 in the most intense moment of the entire tournament against a player fighting for her survival. Eala allowed her to win only 2 single points. During that stretch, Eala entered a state of total flow, recording a frightening run of 7 points won in a row. She basically ran the table when the pressure was at its highest. Imagine the complete despair in the eyes of Magda Linette. You battle for over an hour to force a tiebreak. You use every ounce of your physical strength to push the set to the limit. You wipe the sweat off your face, step to the line, and the 2-0-year-old completely destroys you, hitting winners past you like you are a motionless practice cone. Eala won 71 total points in this match compared to Linette's 59. Eala won 13 total games to Linette's 9. Eala held serve 10 times, while Linette managed to hold only 8 times. Eala won 47 service points, fully controlling her own service games, while Linette won only 42. Every single statistical category that shows who controlled the flow of the match, who dictated the tempo, who owned the baseline, and who applied the psychological pressure leaned heavily, clearly, and permanently toward the absolute pride of the Philippines. The reaction from this performance inside the WTA locker room right now is explosive. It is like a level 5 emergency zone. The private group chats are burning up. The top seeds are sitting in the players' lounge staring at the monitors, watching this 2-0-year-old systematically break down a tough veteran with an impossible 86% second serve win rate, and they are feeling a deep, sickening sense of inevitability in their stomachs. The tennis establishment is completely out of answers. They sent their power hitters to try to blast her off the court, and she absorbed the pace and made them quit. They sent their clever, experienced veterans to try to outthink her, and she outworked them, dragged them into tiebreaks, and embarrassed them 7-2. What exactly is the WTA supposed to do now? How do you plan against a player who has no mechanical weaknesses, endless stamina, and the mental influence of the greatest clay court warrior in the history of the sport? You do not. You cannot. You sit in your hotel room, look at the tournament draw, see her name next to yours, and panic. You start thinking about faking an injury just to avoid the public embarrassment of getting taken apart on international television. The corporate sponsors are sweating through their jackets. The media executives are pacing back and forth in their New York control rooms. They are nervous because they cannot control the story anymore. They cannot create an American or European hero to stop this Filipina force. They threw everything at her and she handled all of it. She survived the qualifiers. She survived the long battles. She survived the veterans. And now she stands in the final stages of the tournament, fully refreshed, mentally unbreakable, and ready to deliver another masterpiece of dominance on whoever is unlucky enough to face her next. And now let us talk about the most frightening weapon Eala has, a weapon that does not even appear on the stat sheet, the Eala Army. When she walked onto the grandstand court today, she did not walk out alone. She walked out with the loud, loyal, and passionate support of millions of Filipinos standing behind her baseline. When she hit those heavy second serves, the stadium exploded. When she struck the final winner in the tiebreak, the noise was so loud it shook the camera lenses. She is turning every stadium in the world into a home match in Manila. She is using the crowd as a weapon, and her opponents are suffocating under the pressure of playing against an entire united nation. This is the exact moment the torch is violently taken from the hands of the old establishment. The era of the media deciding who gets to hold the trophy is completely finished. The crown has been taken by pure force. Alexandra Eala is not the future of women's tennis anymore. She is the unstoppable present. She is the final boss. I need you to completely flood the comments section of this video right now. I need the Eala Army to move like never before in internet history. I need you to make your voices so loud, so strong, and so overwhelming that the executives in the boardrooms and the nervous players in the locker room cannot ignore the truth anymore. I want you to share this video on every platform you have. I want you to send it to every tennis fan you know. What is your immediate reaction to Eala winning an unbelievable 86% of her second serve points? Do you agree that beating a veteran 7-2 in a tiebreak proves she has the heart of a trained assassin? How loud will the Eala Army be when she steps on the court in the next round? Is there anyone left on the entire professional tour, from Iga Swiatek to Aryna Sabalenka, who can stop her now? Or is the rest of the season just one unstoppable historic victory lap for the pride of the Philippines? Drop your biggest celebrations, your deepest analysis, your loudest cheers, and your boldest predictions for her championship run in the comments below. The revolution is not coming. The revolution is already here. The establishment is locked in the cage with her, and she is showing no mercy. Let's go!